The Broncos made their fans wait and then wait some more. They didn't have a first-round pick at all yesterday because of the Jalen Waddle trade. Then they traded out of the second round and into the start of the third round. But then finally, at pick 66, Denver made a selection, and they're adding to a strength, taking defensive tackle Tyler Onyedim out of Texas A&M. He's 6'3", but just 292 pounds, so he's actually a little small for a defensive tackle. He started his career at Iowa State before transferring to A&M for his 5th year, where he played in all 13 games for the Aggies, racking up 48 tackles, 8.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, and a forced fumble. Draft experts describe him as an impressive athlete with an explosive first step and long arms. Romy Bean has been camping out at Broncos headquarters all day. Romy, the Broncos had one of the best defenses in the league last year, and now they've got a guy who may be able to replace John Franklin Myers on that defensive line.
Yeah, well, last week, George Paton said they had about 6 or 7 guys that they were keying in on at that number 62 pick. Tonight, he said Tyler Onyedim was one of those guys, but they felt he was going to be available a few picks later at 66. So they were able to make a little bit of a business move, get an additional pick, a 6th rounder, and get a guy that they believe can come in and compete for playing time right away.
Going through this process, it was really the athleticism, you know, and playing a position that it's always hard to find, defensive tackle. I mean, his strike, his shed, but it was the athlete.
You know, it's the first time since 1995 that the Broncos haven't had a first or a second round pick. But you know who they did pick up in 1995? Some guy named Terrell Davis. So you know what? I think they'll be just fine.
It certainly worked out pretty well for them then. All right, Romy, thanks a lot. Broncos fans had to be patient. Nuggets fans, they're panicking. They watched their team get outplayed, outcoached, outclassed yesterday in Minnesota. With Aaron Gordon watching from the bench with a calf injury, Denver got off to a slow start, and they could just never catch up. Nikola Jokic had his worst playoff game of his career, hitting just 7 of his 26 shots. The Nuggets trailed by as many as 27 last night, as the Timberwolves now have the 2-1 series lead. Denver now has to quickly flush Game 3 and show up big time in a must-win Game 4 tomorrow night.
In playoffs, it's the most important is the next one, you know, so you got to win the next one, and then we're going to think about the future. But the next one is a really important game for us, so we need to get out there with urgency and play much better.
Coming up, the Rockies look to snap a losing streak in New York, and Dinger strikes out looking for love. Details next. Rockies in a New York state of mind tonight, taking on the Mets. Top of the 6th, tied at 1. Tied no longer. Jake McCarthy knocks one into right. Kyle Karros rounds 3rd and heads for home. McCarthy is into 2nd with an RBI double, and the Rocks take the 2-1 lead. And they weren't done. In the 7th, Troy Johnston pokes one through the infield, 2-run score. Rockies meet the Mets. Rockies beat the Mets 4-3, the final. So the Rockies won on the field. Off the field, it was a different story. You may recall Dinger has a little bit of a crush on Mrs. Met, and he hasn't been shy about it. The problem is Mrs. Met is a married woman, or baseball, and Mr. Met wasn't going to let some Barney knockoff make moves on his wife. So the two decided to settle things with a push-up contest, and it did not go Dinger's way. Dinger, sometimes you have to hit the gym to get the girl. We'll be right back.